I've always sort of naturally been like that. I came across somebody told me of a German word, and I can't really reproduce it at the moment, but they have a word. People could look this up, and it's basically it's he has a face that's in need of a fist. And anyway, I think I'm that guy. I think I'm that word.
All right, what's up, everybody? Face that needs a fist. So good. You'll hear a little bit more from Matt about that and the context of why we were talking about a face that needs a fist. So super grateful for Matt and David Kirby, who joined me on episode 89 of this Me Duole podcast. Both of these men are incredible sponsors and supporters of the team, and grateful to just have them on, learn a bit about Matt, and hear from him and how he got into endurance sports, which, by the way, he's run over 30 marathons. That is a big number, and we'll discuss it for a minute inside the podcast. So enjoy this one, and grateful to have these two on. Don't really have any announcements for the team. We covered them a lot in the last episode with Andy Welch, but we've got a kit order that is being delivered soon, and our 40th anniversary kit, which is really fun, which is coming soon. We're going to release the store for that so everybody can have it for next year, which will be the 40th year that Me Duole has been around. So looking forward to that. Grateful for each of you, thankful for all of our sponsors, and super grateful for Matt in this episode. All right, enjoy. All right, welcome to Me Duole podcast, episode 89. Look at Matt, he's already smiling. He can't even stop smiling. David Kirby, Matt Dalton, welcome. That's it? You don't say anything?
Good to be here. Good to be here. We're starstruck.
I feel like it's the two class clowns.
I know. It's gonna be
This is going to be so good. Very grateful for both your time. This is actually some work to get Matt, we connected a while ago. What stopped us? I can't remember. My inability to follow up. I can't remember what happened.
I think it was like I was out of town for like 10 days.
And Newport.
And then life happened and all that sort of stuff. So
this is very good. And David has a new job, although he's coming to us from Salt Lake City. He hasn't moved yet. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, left Zions Bank August 4th. I'm at US Bank now. I kind of have a national and a regional role, so I'm over the Eastern region, which also includes some areas in the Central Time Zone. But we've got to move. Unfortunately, it's we do the best that we can to stay connected with the team and come to team camp and come out and ski and come out and ride. And I think Matt will have to do Lotaja next year just to be able to ride together.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I'm totally in with that. So I've always told people, like, I will ride Lotaja if David does, because we do good drafting off of each other.
Mm-hmm. David, what about we'll just explore this one final question. When you were deciding to move, right? Is this all precedent? Are you coming back? Do you know your future? Is there just like, we're going? I love Cincinnati. We're going forever.
Yeah. It's not in my top 50 places I would have picked. I made a 3 to 5 year commitment to US Bank that I would be there and kind of embrace this role and what they asked me to do. And then after that point, I could look at taking, similar positions or larger positions out west. And so that they're heavy in California because they bought Union Bank. Heavy in Portland, Seattle, but also very, very big presence here in Salt Lake and in Denver. So there is a high chance, if we really focus on it, that we can come back to Salt Lake. That's where we want to be. That's where we'd like to, eventually retire and kind of our family to be. So it's kind of a temporary hiatus.
Inquiring minds want to know, Matt, how are you dealing with this emotionally?
Oh, it's been hard. That's been hard.
Yeah.
But I don't blame David for the choice. probably do the same thing if I was in his situation. So, but yeah, I'm like, oh, who's going to be, we've kind of been each other's huckleberry, I guess you could say. Who's going to, who am I going to ride with? I've been
No
doing a
greater
lot of,
compliment, David. No greater compliment.
yeah.
Because we're both old and fat, so we just kind of we hang
Yeah,
together.
we just do our thing.
Oh my gosh. Wait until you hear my favorite part of this outline. So Matt kind of filled in some questions. There's nothing better than the question where he answers what brought him to me, Duole. This is my
Oh
most
no.
favorite answer I've ever seen in my life. Okay.
Nice.
Uh, I don't have any announcements. I think kits are being made. Yeah, right? Some people, yeah, we have a kit order that's closed that's
Mhm.
being delivered. Usually we do that before load adjust. Sorry,
Or load.
everybody. Yeah, I kind of blew that. But yeah,
Well,
final order of the year.
you've got your 40th anniversary kit coming out next year, right?
That is
Yeah.
correct. Yes. And we have placed an order for some of them so we can model. Some of us are gonna model these
That's
kits.
great. Looking forward to it.
You should
They
have David and I model those
great
for
suggestion.
sure.
I'm gonna write that
Sure,
down.
they'll sell as many.
Okay, very good. Uh Instead we forgoed the Matt's wife writing the introduction, and his best friend wrote it. So this is another very well thought out part of this experience. David, would you like to read it, or would you like me to? I think you should read it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me pull it up. Okay. I've got it on my computer. Luckily, I can't see Matt when he starts laughing. Matt, and if I embellish anything, you can't correct it.
All right. All right. I'll just go with it.
Yeah. Matt was born and raised in Utah, living in Salt Lake City his entire life. Spent a couple years in Cleveland, Ohio. So he's familiar with Ohio. And an internship in New York City, but mostly spending time in Olympus Cove, jumping trash cans on his BMX and hiking the nearby mountains in Millcreek and Neff's Canyon, looking for his dog, Oli, and trying to find what other dogs Oli had impregnated. This is true.
This is true.
Yeah. Matt currently lives in East Millcreek with his wife, Sheri, son, Isaac, who I think Isaac has moved out, daughter, Sarah, and daughter, Rachel. As a family, they love to ski in the winters, hike in the summers, and travel to Hawaii, Costa Rica, and anywhere with a beach and tropical weather. Matt's kids are also very athletic and all played sports at Skyline, primarily swimming and water polo. His daughter Rachel had an offer to play at UC Irvine and also Santa Clara. Decided to go on an LDS mission instead.
Cool.
I just ad-libbed that, Matt. Matt is he's also a Skyline High School alum and a University of Utah alum. Matt has been involved in participating in endurance sports, primarily running and cycling for over 35 years, but the last 10 years focusing on cycling. Matt owns and works at Design Team, a commercial flooring and window covering company, which has been in business for over 40 years and was started by Matt's father and mother, Steve and Elaine Dalton. Currently, Matt and his brother Zach are the owners of Design Team and a current Duole team sponsor. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The
All
lower pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lower right hand pocket. Yes.
Yep.
Here are the fun facts. Here are the fun facts about Matt that you might not know unless you ride with him or
No.
spend evenings in groups with him. Matt has the ability to self-regulate extreme temperatures by sweating like a blank.
It's true.
A lady at the night and at church, or like a pig, whatever your blank is, you can fill it in. And I think maybe we can tell a story about that later.
Can't wait. Okay.
I have a hard time regulating when it gets over 80, 85. But Matt, he has the ability to go through any type of temperatures.
I live for the heat.
Yeah, Matt has run over 30 marathons. A lot of people probably don't realize that.
Dude, that is so many marathons.
It was too many.
It's 30. It's 30 too many, if we're being honest.
That is incredible, Matt.
It was kind of stupid, but yep.
Next item, Matt has perfected the art of crashing on dirt. This is true. Every time we ride gravel, or mountain bikes, he will regularly crash at least one time. On one ride, he crashed three plus times. I
Oh
think
my gosh.
he kind of wrote that in the questionnaire. Uh, Matt does come from the LDS Church royalty. His mother, Elaine Dalton, was president of the Young Women's Association. And I don't think she said this, but I think it's funny, and you kind of have to say it in a Utah accent, that she would make cinnamon rolls in the shape of temples.
That was pretty
Was
good.
that your mom that said that?
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon rolls in the shape of temples.
The
That was
shape
really
of
good.
temples. Matt was a BYU fan for a short period of time, and he has a secret man crush on Mitt Romney.
This is
Yep.
great. This is great.
Yeah, he's overcome his BYU affliction, but probably saddened by the news that Mitt Romney announced today he is not going to run again.
Oh, Mitt.
And my personal favorite, Matt is terrible at making TikTok videos.
See, I disagree. No, I disagree with this.
Never trust him if he says he's going to make
They're the only ones I watch. These are they're excellent.
Oh, nice.
It's probably the only channel I follow. So very good. Very good. Matt, any rebuttals?
Awesome. Oh man, like I wish. I think that's all true. Especially the sweating and the crashing part.
Oh my god.
For sure.
Where were you guys on this? Where were you guys on this crash route?
So it was 2 years ago when we first got gravel bikes, and we were doing Shoreline Trail up above Huntsman. And when you kind of take the higher trail, and then it's really a mountain bike trail. It's pretty rocky, and
very rocky
sections. And then when you come down, like you're going to go to Dry Creek, it funnels into like a pretty tight area. Yeah. And there was, so he crashed twice before we got there. And then it funnels into that area, and there's big ruts where he got caught.
So there was a major rainstorm, and this was like basically the trail was a rut.
Yeah. And so it was going downhill, and he got his gravel bike caught in that rut, and he took his feet off to try to stop himself.
Yes.
And what ended up happening is he started running with the bike between his legs, and the front tire got lodged in the rut, and the back seat launched him.
Wonderful.
Like 10 feet forward into the brush.
So bad. So David does like what any good friend would do, and he like immediately rides over and starts taking pictures of me on the ground. So yeah. This is all documented somewhere on Strava.
I'll look for it. That's so good. Very good.
3 times. It was probably 2 years ago. Fell 3 times on one ride. So
I broke my Garmin with my crotch, which was the start of getting a Karoo. That was fun.
That needs to be in a Google review.
Yeah.
Let Garmin know.
Yeah.
Matt, some good, maybe, okay, pretend we're out on, I like to do this as if like you just rolled up next to somebody and they're like, tell me about your childhood. Do that. Will you tell us a little bit about where you came from?
Okay. So the family I was born into. David got that right. Those are my parents are Stephen and Elaine Dalton. Okay. I'm the oldest of 6. There are 5 boys, 1 girl. A lot of people know. I think a lot of people who just grown up in the Skyline area will know my brothers or my sister. Interesting fact: my brother John just won his category at Lodija.
How about that? What category is that?
Super cool. I think it was like the 35, like the ride 35 plus, something like that.
Great. How about that?
Man. Yeah, he is a monster. He's absolutely been. I mean, you have to just ride like crazy to do that. So psyched for him. And then I've got Matt, me, Zach, Emmy, Jess, John, Chad. So if you know any of them, Chad's 13 years younger than me. So a lot of guys know John, a lot of guys know Zach. Some know Emmy.
Clark is great friends with Chad, and
a
lot of people that went to Skyline definitely know the Dalton family.
Mm-hmm. So we've been around. I basically lived within 5 miles of where I was born my entire life, except for stints on a mission and a little bit of an internship in New York when I was in college. So yeah, the schools are Oak Ridge Elementary, um, Churchill Junior High, Skyline High School, class of '88, and University of Utah. So
Nice.
no,
Okay, these last lines are the best though. I ran my first marathon at 12. Who put you up to that?
I was okay. I was 12 years old. I'll say as a 12-year-old, my time was I think it was like 4:01:07. So I mean,
What?
I think that's a legit time for a
That's
12 year
way
old.
fast.
I took fourth in my age group.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
like, how does that time not win my age group? But it was fourth. I think like
What did you have like Nike Cortezes on? Like what did you run back
okay,
then?
I had women's
PF Flyers.
these light blue women's New Balance shoes that were just
Wow.
great. But yeah, like New Balance was the brand at that point.
Okay.
So
Now, Matt,
yeah,
remind me, is your mom the one with the conference talk about You Can Do It, Utah, the Boston Marathon
that's it.
story?
That's her.
That's her. Yeah. So you
That's her.
guys, this is running is a quite a tradition here in the family.
It is. Yeah. Yep.
Very good.
I'd like to
But
say I'd like to think I kind of started that off for them, but yeah, I mean that's a
are you going to read this next line? It has to be said.
let's see here.
He was
Um,
the worst football player to ever put on pads at Skyline
that
High
is
School.
okay. That is a fact. So
Why
okay,
would
my
you
friends.
declare this?
Okay, so I when I grew up, an athlete was cyclists were not athletes for whatever reason in my mind. I mean, they
Right.
definitely are athletes, but runners weren't athletes. Like if you were an athlete, you played football, basketball, maybe soccer. I don't know if soccer would count in my brain as that, but um, it was a funny thing. And so I thought I want to be athletic, and my friends talked me into joining Skyline High's football team. This was the year that Roger Dupay
Mm,
moved from Highland over to Skyline,
okay.
and we had a decent team, but yeah, I was not included. Like I don't even know why they kept me on the team because I can't catch. I'm super slow. I was same height, 6'3", 145. So they
Okay.
decided that they were like, he could be a tight end. No, he can't catch, too slow, whatever. So they put me on the line. I played guard. And like pretty soon I learned that like football really hurts. Like it hurts to anyway. So Coach Dupay decided that my permanent position would be like water guy. And so in my in my suit, like I'd run out, like when we'd have timeouts, I'd run out and hand water bottles to the guys
Nice.
and stuff like that. I also did a little bit of filming
Ah,
from the booth.
nice.
Um, and then I mean the we made it to state and got clobbered by Brighton that year. I begged the coach because I'd spent so much time like on the booth. I begged him to let me suit up for state, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And
Yeah.
then I had these very unusual shoes, and I ended up loaning them to this guy because I knew I wasn't going to play, and so my parents came to the game like thinking, and he was on the line too. And so they see these shoes and they're just like,
No.
look at Matt. He's out there
No.
killing it. And anyway, it's Jason Hess. So that's
That sounds
not
like a
me.
Hallmark. That sounds like a Hallmark movie.
But my shoes played in state and did
That's
very well.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway. So yeah. I like good football players on the team, Jake Cook, those guys, I am the exact opposite of that.
That's funny. Very
Yeah.
good. That's good. David, any follow up there for Matt's childhood?
No,
Any
no. I
explore?
actually
No.
didn't know
Okay.
that football story. Oh, that's funny.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you do now, Matt? I mean, we kind of got a taste there from David, but what do you do now?
Yeah.
Typical,
Okay.
yeah,
So
typical day.
okay, so well, I have a company called Design Team.
Okay.
My brother and I are working that, and my parents started it. So second generation company. We've been in business for 40 years.
Cool.
Our biggest accomplishment is sponsoring the corner pocket of Duole,
Very big. It's
which is
huge.
great. I mean, yeah, I mean, actually, I think it's super cool. Hope to
It's way
continue to do
cool.
that for a
Yeah.
while. And we're a specialty contractor. We focus on commercial carpet, window coverings. Um, and other finishes like sound masking, things like that.
Mm.
Tile, a little bit of ceramic tile, stuff like that. We work with architects. We have a system that we're putting in place that helps contractors build with ease and speed. And um, we're just trying to provide building owners with financially successful and beautiful places for people to thrive. So
Nice. What are you
anyway,
doing? What are you doing all day? Are you like going to houses, or are you like doing sales calls with contractors?
so it's a lot of different things. Like for example, today, meetings in the morning, answering a lot of emails. The work that we do is the majority of it is commercial. I'd say one exception is if you look at the carpet behind David,
Oh,
I think that's mine. Is that mine? Are you in the basement?
mm,
Yeah, this
Oh,
is you.
lovely,
look at that. Brown. Amazing.
lovely.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, we do a little bit of residential, but it's mostly commercial. So like the new 95 South State building downtown, the 25-story tower that was built. We put a motorized window shade covering or motorized roller shade system in that.
Mm.
Um, and it's pretty complicated, but the building, like, anyway, I won't bore people with it, but the building knows what the weather conditions are and adjusts the shades
Whoa.
um, to make it comfortable and saves the building owner money, which is really cool.
Mm.
I
Like
like what
20,
Matt, I'm gonna toot your horn here. So, like, you did all of the carpet work and rubberized floor work in the new stadium addition at the University of Utah.
yeah, no, so the south
Mm.
end zone, that's me.
Yeah,
Nice, nice.
South End Zone, all of that you did, which was cool because we got to tour it before it was done and tour the stadium.
That's cool.
You
Yeah,
did the practice facility, and you were the one that turned the butt of the U towards BYU, which faces
yep,
Provo.
Oh,
true. Yeah,
this is
also
this is
true.
where the podcast ends. This is the ending. That was
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pinnacle of everything we've talked about.
yeah. So if you walk into the practice facility, and there's kind of the museum area with all their trophies and the uniforms, and then there's the cafeteria on the right. You walk in and there's a big U, like University of Utah. It's massive in the
Hmm.
carpet. And the
Hmm.
butt end of that U, so the bottom end of it, faces BYU
Oh,
exactly.
that's so good.
Yep.
Josh Bradley, I
Yeah.
hope you're listening. That is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Utah County Cruise signs out now.
That is so
Anyway,
fun.
yeah, I mean, so yeah, so life is pretty busy here. I mean, a lot of paperwork, site visits, working, coordinating with installers, answering questions, yeah, working with our team on like submittals and plans, shop drawings. I mean, all that sort of stuff. So it's fun.
Very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Uh, David, do you know how he got into endurance sports? I mean, I know we've got this endurance runner as a 12-year-old, but maybe Matt, you want to tell that story? How you got into
Yeah.
endurance sports? Yeah.
So it was the 70s. Our stake had this thing called the stake mini marathon, and
Okay. Well,
they
how
were kind
old
of
are you?
promoting
How
it.
old are you, Matt?
Man, I was probably
No,
nine,
no, no. Like
10.
like right now.
Oh, right now I'm 53.
53. Okay.
I'm in my second year of being 53.
Okay, great.
I thought I was 53 last year, and so I told everybody that, and then I was corrected, and it was like you're actually 52. But they told me that like I thought I was turning 54, but
Oh,
it was cool. It's kind of a gift. I've been
that's
53
cool.
for 2 years,
Don't know when
so
you're okay. Very
yeah,
good.
you're
I have
great
no
at
idea.
math.
Yeah, math strong suit.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, there was this I kind of this running craze that hit, and there was I think Spencer W. Kimball said, "Lengthen your stride," right?
Mhm.
And we're all planting grow boxes, and as a family, and doing things like that. And running was just kind of part of at least Utah's culture, I think. So we had this mini marathon, and I went to my dad and just said, "Hey, I think we should do it." And
Nice.
my dad just said, "Okay, let's train." And so we went to there's a track at Oak Ridge Elementary. It's not really a track, but it's um, just kind of a path. And we would go down there at nights and we'd run around it. And we trained and trained. And then my dad and I ran that. I think it was like 6 miles maybe. Um, but we ran the mini marathon together. Um, and yeah, it was one of the super cool experience to have with my dad. Um, and then he was hooked. So
Fun.
kind of like the Olympus Cove version of me Duole or whatever. There were a couple of other people in the neighborhood who saw him running and said, "Hey, why don't you come out and start running?" And so he joined these two other friends, and they would invite me and one of the friends he was running with had a son my age, and they just said, "Hey, why don't you come and start doing long runs with us on the weekends?" And so we'd go out and run 10, 11 miles, and we didn't know what we were doing. And anyway, that ended up, they said, yeah, if you can run 18 miles, you can run a marathon. So I went out and ran 18 miles, and then they signed me up for the St. George
Oh
Marathon.
my goodness.
And then I somehow slugged my way through that and took fourth in my age group.
Incredible.
So, huh.
And then 29 more. At what point were you like, all right? I mean, was there this turning point where you decided like I am physically injured from all of this?
So I quit running at 12, and well, I'd still run on my own. I should have been on the cross country team in high school, but I didn't do that because the coach was a smoker, and I didn't think he knew what he was doing. So, and he didn't. Um, but
So good.
anyway, I um, started cycling more because I was running. I just realized that in running, it was like I was either injured, running to recover from an injury, or just about ready to get injured. And so started cycling, and I was like, oh, this helps me with my Achilles. And so it was just kind of this part-time thing, and then just rediscovered the joy of being on a bike. Like I love seeing a lot of country. You just don't. You go out for a long run, like 6 or 8 miles, and you see a certain amount of stuff, and you're trying to
Right.
um, keep it under control. But yeah, like a 50-mile bike ride, you see a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Just cool. So
Great
we
point.
all get that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a quick question, Stu, if that's okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, what's interesting is I look at, you, Matt, been cycling for the last 10 years. I've been cycling for the last, since 2010, 13 years. And you and I connected because our kids played water polo and swam. And I
True. Yeah.
remember it was like a stepbrothers moment where we were like chaperoning our kids to Denver, and we
Yeah.
liked all the same things. And we're like, wow, we just became best friends.
Yeah.
And we've been cycling together ever since. But one thing that's interesting, do you feel that you ran because your parents ran, or just because, like, I grew up
Yeah.
riding motorcycles and with my dad, dirt bikes, but we never rode bikes together, and so I
Mhm.
kind of I found bikes on my own. Like, I guess
Mhm.
that's kind of my question. Did you find bikes on your own, or
Well, so when I came home from yeah, I wasn't going to run or wasn't going to run much, like specifically not marathons, because I was like, well, I've done that, right? And I came home from my mission, and my dad was running the St. George Marathon. Um, so I went down with my dad and mom were both running it, and I went down there with them and was just cheering on the sidelines. There's just something about like being near a race that was just super cool for me. Um, and I saw the people that were running it. I saw, those were the kind of people that I wanted to be like, I guess you could say. And so we came home from St. George, and I went out and bought some jogging shoes and started running again. I mean, I'd say so it was, I want to be like that, I guess. And then the other thing is like, I think we all get this in cycling. Have you ever achieved like that Zen-like moment where it's just going really well?
Mhm.
And like your breath is in rhythm, your cadence is good, your mind is clear. Like I have, you just have like it's like you can think better. It's just therapy, basically.
Yeah.
Um, like I discovered that moment and was addicted. So,
Hmm.
um, you know, and then just
that's
habit.
awesome.
Like I'm stubborn, and I was like, well. I ran it. Now I'll start training for it again next year. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered that, like just within people, because like I look back 20 years ago and I used to think spandex, I would never wear that. Right now, I
yeah.
own as much spandex as I do regular clothes. But I look at someone like, let's take Stu for example, right? Stu rides, very strong rider, rides all disciplines. Kristen, very strong rider, rides all disciplines. And now their daughter Ava, very
Mm.
strong bike rider,
Mhm.
and is
Hmm.
competing in the high school level.
Hmm.
And so I wonder, like, I've always wondered, how do people find that zen that you talk about riding bikes, or how do people find that pathway into bikes? Is it
Mm.
something like, hey, this is an Anderson family event, and so our kids automatically do it? Because I've not been successful
Mm.
in getting like my family. Well, my brother's starting to ride now, and he bought a Benton,
Mhm.
but like just trying to like be that cycling missionary and help people convert to cycling, because there is something about it that is
There
so
is.
good for your soul and your mind and your body.
You
And
just want
I
to share
felt
it.
like I've not been able to like get my family, like they all have bikes, and
Mm.
it's just, I think everyone they find it in their own way and their own journey, and we're not all going to be the Andersons, right? And it's not, Stu, it's not a dig at you in any way, because I see that and I'm like, I want that,
Mhm.
but that's okay that it's not that. I'm just kind of curious. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, and my
Yeah.
my parents weren't. My parents are not at all involved in anything sports.
Hmm.
So yeah, we stumbled across it trying to find something to do, together. So it is interesting. There's been people that I've tried to get into it that are like, this is terrible. Like, this is an awful experience. Like, why would you want to purposefully do this to yourself?
Hmm.
They don't
Wake up
love,
early.
yeah, wake up early. Yeah. It's a great question, though.
But I think there's something in that suffering, in that journey together, even though that everyone's at different levels, that make that there's a bond that's created that people outside don't get unless they do it.
I agree.
Hmm. Yep.
Especially if your friends are filming you as you're going over your bar, smashing your crotch into your
Yeah.
Garmin.
Exactly. Exactly.
Maybe quick history, Matt. Let's do this. How you joined the team, a little history behind that.
Okay, so what was it? It was when we joined the team when you did the 40 or the
35.
black kits, the
Yeah.
35-year black kits, and we'd been pretty diehard Z team guys.
Hmm.
David was working for Zions. Sean Montmany was working for Zions. Those were and John Holberg was another guy that we rode with, and um, mainly those kits were like, I don't know, did we pay anything? We got a whole bunch of
Well,
free races.
the program was the kit. It was a DNA kit. It was $100. That's what you paid. And then at the time, and this was because Sean was managing the Z team. At the time, if you submitted a race entry that you did in the Z team with a picture and your receipt, the bank would refund you. Didn't matter if you were a customer of the bank.
Wow.
They would refund you that hundred
Mhm.
dollars that you paid for the kit.
What a deal.
So it was basically a free kit. So
Huh.
we were committed to Z Team, I think. And after Sean left Zion's, I think he felt like he couldn't, with any conscience, like ride for the Z Team anymore, and so he joined Duole. And he kept telling us, like we'd see the Duole guys, up and down canyons, things like that, and we were just like, Duole. I think they're all
I love
that.
I love
we
that.
had we had some names, stuff like
So
anyway. We're like, oh,
so
the
good.
barbacoa guys or
So
whatever,
good. Yeah.
Well, I
And
think I think the thing though, Matt, with it is they were really strong riders,
yeah, yeah. So we
right?
would like,
And
yeah, regularly get passed.
we knew Dave Sharp, and like you had the big barbacoa flame on it, and
Hmm.
they were all like serious, strong riders. And I'm not as serious all of the time, and so that's kind of like there. It was just intimidating, if we're being honest.
That is
Yeah,
so
that's
funny.
that's true. So anyway, Sean's like, hey, these guys aren't so bad, and then the fatal. so we're like, oh, that's cool, maybe, but like the kit isn't free, you have to buy the kit. And anyway, I think the fatal flaw was Sean left, and then I think it's fair to say kit design went downhill big time.
Z
Like,
It
team
was terrible. The Z Team kits are terrible.
yeah, like
Des-
super, super ugly.
designed in
Anyway,
the dark. Some guy throwing
so yeah,
darts.
they had I think they came out with a kit, and we were just like,
Can't
nothing
do it.
against them, right? They're trying, and but they came out with a kit, and I was like, I won't, even if that kit's free, I'm not wearing it. And so we jumped over
The
to something
ultimate
that was
insult.
so bad. Anyway,
But
we
we
jumped over
were
to
riding
Midway.
with the Wheels of Justice kits for a while,
Hmm.
Mm,
post Z Team, and that's when we were riding with Todd Raker a lot. And then Todd and Sean kind of went over to Duole, and then we kind of came soon thereafter.
Yeah, great decision.
very fun.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
percent
And a
Very
kit
good.
that's worth buying
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
multiple times.
Yes.
Real quick, what are you riding now, Matt? What do you ride?
Okay, so like I'd make an argument that the Specialized Roubaix SL4 is the best bike that's ever been made.
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, that carbon layup cannot be duplicated.
Okay.
2014, they knew what they were doing.
I'm gonna look
Rim
that up right now.
brakes,
Okay.
rim brakes. Pretty anyway. That's what I'm that's my road bike. And then I ride the Ventum GS1 this
Okay.
year's version. So I call that the GS 1.2, I guess you could say, or
Mm-hmm.
1.1.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I've got a mountain bike. I've got a Specialized Epic Evo Pro, and
Okay.
love both of those. I think the Ventum is probably my favorite bike out
Favorite
of all
bike,
of
like
those.
you love to just ride it all the time, or just like it's the highest quality?
Both. Like it's just a high quality bike, and I like the ability to do road and a little bit of gravel, and it gives me a chance to crash. So
Mm-hmm.
that's good too.
Does
So
your Roubaix have these little plastic inserts in the frame? These
Yeah.
oh
little
yeah, the
The Zig,
Zerts,
what are they
the
yeah,
called?
Zert,
the
the
Zerts.
Zig insert, the
Oh my
Zerts.
What was
Yeah,
the
and
what
it's
is
got the
that?
funky gooseneck, like
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, yeah, for comfort.
Comfort. I'm
Yeah.
looking at it right now.
Are you looking at the S Works? It is the S Works.
Oh, it's
So
the S Works. Okay.
I've at least
Okay.
got that going.
I'm gonna look that.
It's supposed to dampen the vibration, like when you put like one of those rubber strips in your tennis racket. Same
Hmm.
kind of
That's
concept.
exactly it. Yeah. Great bike.
I have that same frame, S Works Roubaix SL5 with the insert.
Sold it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's probably time to switch that out, but I'm like, oh, then I look at the SL8 and I'm like, what?
Nice.
How much? Anyway, so
Um, any great, I know you've listed a few here, but any great memorable moments from your time riding? This is always kind of a fun thing to reminisce about.
okay. So I don't know. Do we want to talk about great crashes, David? Um,
Mm,
or do we want to talk about
Great rides or crashes. It's your podcast. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, like the White Rim Trail was awesome. We did that what last year, a couple years ago,
last year.
something like that. We didn't do it in a day like a lot of guys do. We spent a couple nights camping, so it was a 3 day thing,
oh, fun.
and
It's probably way more enjoyable.
it was
Yeah,
great. It was still
fully
hard.
supported. Yeah, fully
Um,
supported over 3 days. And Matt did the full 100 miles. I went full send coming down Schaefer over the handlebars and
Oh,
missed a few miles after
yeah.
that.
ouch.
First day.
That
Yeah.
that was beauty like no other. I mean, you're riding over what you think is just desolation, and then make a turn, and it's like, oh, like yeah, it's just so that was a highlight for just a cool ride, and a
Hmm,
cool multi-day ride.
hmm.
Um, oh, I'm trying to think. Um, other like cool places. I don't know, or other stuff. What would you say, David?
I would say
You've been with me all up.
we've had some memorable loadages.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is true.
I want to hear about David's meltdown. You have this in your notes.
Oh, okay. So this is
Before he says this, I've been known to use four-letter words, one in particular that starts with F, and I have had some meltdown moments. So I'm
Can't
just
wait.
putting a
It's
disclaimer.
okay. It's
Okay, so let's ask.
this sport lets us learn about ourselves. It's very
So
good.
Yeah.
let's ask Stu.
Okay.
2020. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
you did. You ride Loaded Jet 2020?
I did.
Was that the year we're talking about, David? I think it was
Yeah, it
the
was the
COVID
year
year.
before. It was the year before the rainstorm, which was
Mm-hmm.
terrible.
So, where was the Star Valley? Where was the feed zone located?
Well, it was supposed to
Spain.
be in Thane. It was supposed to be in Thane, and they've changed it now, but it was Thane.
Yeah. So anyway, um, we talked about we were being supported by John Holberg, and there was a mix-up. So we get to. We thought it was in Afton, didn't we?
Well,
But it was actually in Thane.
we told him to be in Afton. He wasn't there, but he wasn't communicating. He wasn't answering his phone or texting us. So just
So
terrible
so we sh
communication.
so he's driving my car. We're like we pull up in Afton at the feed zone, and Holberg is not there. And so
Oh
I'm
my
like
gosh.
I think I had half a bottle. You were totally out. David was totally out. And we were like, well, he's not here. We really can't do anything. There was a feed zone there, but anyway. So we just start rolling along, and David starts like immediately. I can see him texting, and he's texting things like, "You had one job. You had
This is why you're
where,
here.
like, where are you?" Meanwhile, we found out Holberg's driving my car down like a dirt road. He'd gotten lost, and he's driving my car down a dirt road at like 120 miles an hour,
Oh
like
my
nearly
gosh.
crashes it. Anyway, we get to Thane because we're like, okay, if he's not in Afton, he's in Thane. But on the way to Thane, um, David just starts like, oh yeah, like just absolutely freaking out. And my my tendency is to manage stuff. And so I'm like, dude, it's good. We're gonna be okay. Like we don't have a choice. We're gonna pedal. We're just gonna go. I've got a water bottle. I've got a full bottle. You can have half of it. And then you were something like, my feet are hurting. Anyway, it was just amazing. Like, and that's when I was like, okay, we're good at Loaded Jet together because he's melting down. He's melting down. I'm trying to provide calmness. I don't know if that helped. Anyway, we made it to Thane. He was not there.
Oh my
Um,
Yeah,
gosh.
he was not there.
and so we like he's back driving, and so we like begged some, I think a little bit of water off some people or whatever. We're trying to get stuff, and then he pulls up, and to his credit, was like the best pit
When
crew
he was
ever.
there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, when he was there, yeah, and I mean like helping us out, feeding us pickles, spoon feeding us relish. Oh wait, that's Sean Monmany. Um,
Gross.
I
anyway,
mean, I think I rode from basically the top of Salt Pass past Thane um, without any water. I mean, it was hot. I was out of water. I had no food. Matt didn't have any food. He just had a little bit of water. And like I was like, I'm effing done with this. This is
yeah.
I was so upset, and I was texting, yelling, voice texting on my phone, yelling. John wasn't answering, and then our wives started calling us. Where are you guys? We're effing riding this stupid race with no food or water.
Oh, but he did
And
start. He wasn't answering David, but he started texting our wives, like, "Do you know where they
yeah,
are?"
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
so we ended
So,
up. That's still a controversy with us. I
but
ended up.
John rode the next year with you guys,
Yeah.
right?
correct.
Oh, he'd
Yeah.
ridden it before.
He had ridden Loaded Dirt before as well, so we thought and he was right. It was Thane. We should have stopped there, but he wasn't there when we were there. It wasn't marked very well. And I think since then, this year, they actually moved that Thane stop to Afton.
They did. Yeah, they did away
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but
Should we
when
just
you're
say
100,
we were wrong? John was right, but it'll
yeah.
it'll always be debated. And he does have a shirt from me that says Afton on it that he wears on occasion. So
That's fun.
just to remember.
Maybe we got time for one more. Should we do Kirby versus Deer? Were you there
Oh
for that?
yes, yeah, I was. So
Oh my goodness.
so we were riding Mill Creek. You had a flight to catch.
Yeah, I was going to a dental show in California, so I stopped at the gate to turn
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, and Holberg and I were like, well, let's just go up to Elbow and we'll catch you. We'll just see you later. So Kirby turns around, we go up to Elbow, and then we're descending down the canyon, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this like neon. It's like, that's weird, on the side of the road. I'm like, oh, that's strange. Like, what's that neon thing? And it was I think that was the neon kit that you had that got cut off of you.
No
Yeah,
way.
specialized. There was a
No
specialized,
way.
all full specialized. That was, yeah,
So
neon
you
kit.
guys weren't, I mean, you technically weren't together.
No, not so. Yeah, David had. I'll let him
Wow.
tell his part of
Wow.
it, but we anyway. I'm like, oh, that's a guy, and then it was like, oh, it's David, and he's there. He's conscious. So we're like, what are you doing on the side of the road? And he's like, oh, I hit a deer. And anyway, he shows us his hand, like your fingers were all like kind of bent. You had a broken finger. We're like, oh, well, like, can you ride? Your bike looks good. His bike was fine.
Can
Um,
you ride?
yeah, we're like, do you think you can ride out of here? And so, like, we tried to stand you up, and it was like, anyway, and
Yeah,
he was
they tried to
screaming.
stand me up, yeah, and put me on the bike, and I screamed, and I fell over, and they just set me back down. I couldn't even stand up.
Oh my goodness.
So then somebody had taken David's number and gone down the canyon and called Renee, and so Renee pulls up a few minutes later,
Hmm.
and we had to physically lift you into the car, which was
Yeah.
another screaming thing, and we're like, oh, that's not good. Anyway, David takes off down the canyon. So
Hmm.
yeah, very memorable.
That's good. Man, I can't believe you
When
eyewitnesses.
yeah,
Yeah, Matt was the one that named that segment there in Millcreek.
yep.
Kirby,
There's a
Kirby, Kirby.
That you made that?
yeah, Kirby one, Deer zero is
That's
my
funny.
segment. That's where it happened.
No, it's Deer One, Kirby Zero.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Deer one, Kirby zero.
That's funny.
He is
All
their
right.
king.
Hey, I always love to do some advice, suggestions. Maybe do that. Should we move into that?
Sure.
What keeps you motivated? Coaches, mentors, heroes. Kind of like what does your life revolve around?
Well, I'd say, I'd obviously say my parents, my wife, my family. I have two. I'm really lucky too. Like I have two brother-in-laws on my wife's side that are uh, just close friends. So that's some people may know them, Dick Corey and Steve Shank,
Hmm.
and they're different. Dick is he's a retina surgeon. He's a smart guy. Just ran the Big Cottonwood Marathon in like 3:34, which is not a bad time. Especially at I think he's 53, 54, something like that.
Shout out to
Um,
Charlie. Shout out to Charlie, by the way. Thanks, Charlie, if you're
oh
listening.
yeah, yeah, Zoe's friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he's got some cool kids, and he's um, just a great guy. Um, and then another motivator for me is my brother-in-law Steve Shank, who's he's above all things, he's kind.
Hmm.
He's just a kind, fun, super adventurous guy. Um, and anyway, like loves to four wheel, loves to just do all the things that I would never dare to do. So anyway, those are some guys that are really important to me in my life. And then obviously, I'd say my wife is just she's a hero to me as well. She's a lot smarter than I am. She speaks Japanese. Served a mission in Osaka,
Wow.
and just a great person. So
Hmm.
anyway, I love her dearly.
David, you're muted, but any follow up there?
Yeah, I I think I'm going to speak for Matt, but Matt does a great job at always being positive
Yes.
and finding the silver lining per se in things. It's
Nice,
really
thanks.
hard to get Matt upset. It's really hard to get Matt flustered. And he does a great job just kind of going with the flow and being amenable and just creating kind of, just positive energy and flow. And for me, that's good because I don't know, I'm not always that way. I can get, upset. Um, uh, and so it's good for me to have someone like Matt. And I think just people in general, Matt is just very approachable, and he's very even tempered, and he's very reasonable, but also very accepting, and he's a good advocate for people.
Hmm. I love
Thanks.
that.
That's nice.
Well, there's one thing, Matt, David, and I are all on this ridiculous text thread. We're kind of planning rides in the neighborhood, but it really isn't. That's not what it's about. It's we just
Hmm.
are silly. But since Matt's been on, I mean, Matt, you're not just fun. Like you just have an attitude that is infectious. Like people love to be around you. Um, is that natural for you to just be happy and positive, or is that something you've worked on over the years? Is that like a thing that had to kind of become you?
So I've always sort of naturally been like that. I came across somebody told me of a German word, and I can't really reproduce it at the moment, but they have a word. People could look this up, and it's basically it's he has a face that's in need of a fist. And anyway, I think I'm that guy. I think I'm that word.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
the guy that's like I'm very lucky and fortunate that I've just always been naturally happy. Like when I was little, people would be like, "What are you smiling about?" And it
This
was
is gonna
just
this is gonna be the name of the podcast, by the way. The
a
face.
face
Based
in need of a
on
fist.
a
Nice. Anyway, I yeah, it's always just been yeah, I've just always just been happy. Like it's a
That's cool.
it's a crazy thing.
Great
I don't
gift.
know what, you know.
Yeah. What motivates you in to keep going, to ride and to suffer? And is it something you enjoy, or is this something you got to work at?
It's something that I enjoy a lot. I'm not naturally, well, at one point in my life, I would say like the fastest marathon I've run is like a 3:01, which is a decent time. I think I could have run that faster if I trained differently. I
Wow.
walked like a couple miles in that too,
Dang.
but, at one point in my life, I was Jason Spangler, or
Justin.
yeah,
Jason, whatever.
turbo, turbo. Yeah.
Turbo. At one point, I was that guy. I was Ryan Welch, right? Or at least I felt like that, right? And I'm not that guy anymore. Uh, so I ride because I love it. I ride because, yeah, because of those Zen-like moments that I get. I ride because of the experiences I get to have. I ride because I get to form deep friendships with people.
Hmm.
I get to learn about people, learn about. I mean, that's a really great part of being a part of this team. Is I can say without question, like the guys that I've met on this team, and I can't think of any that I don't admire. And
Hmm.
they've all got, they're just spectacular people. I don't know how you did it, Stu, but like you've assembled what 200 over 200 of the best of the best.
Hmm.
We may have our bad days here and there, but um, I think I can learn something from everybody.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, it's great.
Birds of a feather flock together, right, David?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what about we've shared this the last couple times, but 5 or 6 rules, some takeaways that you've learned over your life. Doesn't have to be necessarily about cycling. Your
Okay.
rules, yeah, rules to live by.
I love humor. Like that's
Yeah.
necessary. I mean, it just comes naturally. It comes naturally to me. The other thing that I'd say, and I've said this a lot, is I'll never regret being too kind to somebody.
I love that.
Um, I don't live up to that all the time. Like I can get upset or I can, but I like to live my life in a way where just try to be kind to people. Um, try to be positive. And then this is something that a man that I very much admire said. He was talking about essentially like being a disciple, and he said, try and do something nice for somebody every day. And so you can name your iPhone, um, and my iPhone is named Do Something Nice, and that's essentially because like when I get in my car in the morning, um, it'll come up and it'll say, connecting to do something nice, and it just reminds me of
Mm,
do something nice today.
that's cool.
So anyway, that's my advice is I guess have humor, be kind, and do something nice.
Yeah. David, does he live that way?
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to rack my brain. I don't think I've ever seen him get mad. Uh, yeah.
It happens.
Nah. Although it is, if you're watching the video, which I will post to YouTube, Matt's shades keep going up and down. I
Oh
assume this is
yeah.
an automatic response to sunlight.
Oh
Is that what
yeah.
it's doing?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just sweating. I'm sweating here.
So yeah, right. It's so good. David, any final questions as we wrap up? Anything you want to talk or I don't know, ask Matt?
Maybe like what, from a cycling perspective, what are a couple races or events that you want to do?
Hmm.
Oh, like dream races. There's that race that got canceled in Oregon that would be so much fun. Like I think something I'd like to do a gravel race. I've
Mm-hmm.
never actually not the Wasatch All Road. That's too hard. We tried that.
Hmm.
But something that involves all the bikes. This race, there was a race in Oregon that you started off on road, transitioned to gravel, and then went to mountain. I think that'd be
That'd be awesome.
super fun to do something like that. Um, I don't know, other races like, yeah, I'd like to actually do a little more dirt, like do some sort of mountain bike race or ride.
Fun.
Haven't done that, so and
Um,
maybe crash along the way.
yeah, totally. Matt, I haven't asked this in a bit, but if you were going to talk to whatever, some guys just decided to start riding with us, what advice would you give about being with us, getting the most out of the team? What makes a great teammate here?
Um, I mean, I think the advice I'd give for somebody starting out new or like considering me dwelling, you think?
Yeah. Or just
Um,
in general, just cycling in general.
like what makes a good teammate?
Yeah,
Um,
like what makes this that you were like you didn't know at the beginning where you're like, oh yeah, if I would have known that 10
well,
years ago, this would have been a
I
lot
think
better.
like well, so something that I've struggled with in my own life is I think seeing myself the way that others see me, I guess you could say. And if that makes sense, like I've talked to a lot of people about that um, in various settings, but it's like, hey, you are a lot cooler than you think you are. You're a lot better. You're a lot smarter than you think you are. The person that you're looking at in the mirror is not necessarily um, that you may think that you're one way, but you're so much better than that. I guess I should say. So it's that attempt or that struggle to try and see yourself as like, I'm this person with unlimited potential. I'm smart. I'm fun. I'm happy. I'm all those and then just make that like a sort of a mantra or whatever until you become that. So, I mean, that's the and then everybody on this team, like I said, I mean, I can learn something from everybody on this team. Like it wouldn't be a podcast without mentioning Dave Sharp. Like I've had a few interactions with Dave Sharp. I just love that guy. His advice, the advice that he's given me, is just it'll stay with me for my life. He's just a good person, and he just absolutely destroys too. So, but I saw Dave at a wedding reception a month ago, and just cool to know him well enough to go up to him and just ask him how his recovery's going. I think he's been out on the bike,
Mm-hmm. Couple
so it's
times.
going well. Dean Walker fixed him up, but
Yeah.
that's another guy who's just fantastic. Anyway, that's I think you can learn something from everybody on the team. So
Nice. Cool.
mhm.
Matt, you're the man. This is great. And David, thank you for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Serious.
Um, Grateful for you. Thankful for your sponsorship. if you didn't know, all of the sponsors on the team were just so fun, are guys like Matt that want to just contribute and be part of making the team better, which is really fun to see. And when you said, "Hey, is there room?" I think we had somebody drop, and you're like, "Is there?" You were the first one, like instantly to text me and say, "Is there any way I can be on?" So
Yeah.
super grateful for you for that, and just
Well, I'm honored that you'd let me on. I mean, I think
honored.
that's super cool.
Very good. All righty, gentlemen. Appreciate your time. I was grateful to be with you.
Thanks, Stu. You too.
Thanks,
Thanks, Ethan.
guys. See ya.